Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Michael's red flags, Audra's epic failure and Claire's inability to resist. Claire Newman finds herself unable to turn down an alluring offer, while Audra Charles will set herself up for an epic failure. Here's what YNR fans may anticipate from Michael Baldwin, who will also raise some red flags with his behavior. First, Tracy E. Bregman's character Lauren Fenmore Baldwin will suspect Michael of something. Lauren will grow increasingly alarmed as Michael attempts to hide his actual behavior. Lauren may believe this has Victor Newman written all over it because she can almost always detect when Michael is trying to hide anything. Lauren won't be pleased with Victor bringing her spouse back into the picture because she was overjoyed when Michael eventually retired and left all of Victor's drama behind. Since Michael works for Kane Ashby and is giving Victor information against the will of his new boss, there is undoubtedly another complicated layer to all of this. Although Lauren may not yet have all the pieces of the puzzle put together, she will eventually gather enough clues to determine the true nature of the situation. At some time this autumn, Michael will have to face Lauren's wrath and come clean. Meanwhile, following a difficult defeat, Jason Thompson's character Billy Abbott will reorganize, which could be related to Billy's dubious Kane contract. Will Billy accuse Courtney Hope's character, Sally Spectra, of attempting to thwart his plans? In any case, there will be some challenging times as they try to determine whether Sally and Billy's romance can be saved because it is in danger. She will corner Nate Hastings with Audra Charles in the hopes that he could be open to giving her another shot. Audra won't be as quick to give up on their future together because she will feel as though they had something unique. Nate, however, no longer has faith in Audra and doubts that it can ever be fully restored. Nate will so reject Audra once more, preventing her from winning her ex back and forcing her to find a new way to go forward. Since Audra may use that time to come up with ideas, she won't want to have a pity party for very long. Audra will look to the future and begin developing her next project once she comes to terms with the fact that a Nate reunion is not going to occur. Naturally, Claire and Kyle Abbott will be determined to get Audra out of Genoa City if at all possible, and Audra has the potential to cause them additional trouble. However, Kyle might believe that Holden Novak poses a greater threat to their relationship at this time. Soon, Holden will deepen his relationship with Claire by extending an intriguing invitation, which Claire is likely to accept. YNR will use it as an opportunity to draw Claire closer to Holden, thus temptation may be a bad thing for these two. Billy's setback, Lauren's hunch, and Claire's temptation. Meanwhile, the plot of Audra Charles fails. Additionally, Jason Thompson's character Billy Abbott might be portraying Kane Ashby, not the other way around. Let's begin with Tracy E. Bregman's character, Lauren Fenmore Baldwin. Lauren will apparently be able to tell that Christian LeBlanc's character, Michael Baldwin, is hiding something from her. She undoubtedly knows him better than anyone else in Genoa City because they have been together for ages. It didn't work out the last time Michael concealed something from Lauren. Michael will probably be questioned by Lauren for the truth and answers. Lauren will be able to see that Victor Newman's fingerprints are all over this, no matter how hard he tries to hide it. Every time Michael works for Victor, he finds himself in a foreign prison or in a legal bind. Despite Michael's best efforts to reassure her, the wife will not be pleased about this. According to spoilers for the week of September 22nd on The Young and the Restless, Jason Thompson's character Billy Abbott must cope with his setback. Kane Ashby's situation is becoming increasingly complicated. Billy is already losing everything, including his relationship with Courtney Hope's character, Sally Spectra. But Kane believes he is pretending to be Billy. But I'm beginning to question whether Billy is genuinely portraying Kane and everyone else. Audra makes another attempt to corner Nate Hastings. The brunette will attempt to patch things up once more. The former physician won't be interested, though. Audra may be devastated by this, but she has the ability to bounce back. She will probably put forth even more effort to get another employment. Audra could have a breakdown, but she usually loses herself in her job and pursuits. In his quest to uncover information about Holden Novak, Kyle Abbott runs the risk of permanently losing Claire. Claire is correct, Kyle is also advocating for them to go on a vacation. It won't fix their problems, it will just put them on hold. Michael Baldwin's red flags are about to flash brighter than ever as Genoa City finds itself in a whirlwind of temptation, betrayal, and epic failures that will shake relationships to their very core, leaving fans breathless as the tangled web of secrets tightens. It begins with Claire Newman, a young woman struggling with the shadow of her family legacy, who finds herself standing at a dangerous crossroads when Holden Novak extends an invitation that is as intriguing as it is perilous. Claire knows deep down that accepting Holden's offer could jeopardize everything she has fought to rebuild, her fragile relationship with Kyle Abbott, her determination to earn her family's trust, and even her own hard-won self-respect, but there is something about Holden's charm and the sense of rebellion he stirs in her that makes it impossible for her to say no. As Claire tries to justify her decision, telling herself it is harmless, just an exploration of possibility, fans will see her unravel in quiet, devastating ways, because temptation is not something that stays harmless for long in Genoa City. Meanwhile, Audra Charles, who has already burned too many bridges to count, is about to set herself up for what may be her greatest failure yet. Still stinging from Nate Hastings' cold rejection, Audra will make one more desperate attempt to claw her way back into his life, convinced that the connection they once shared was too powerful to ignore. But Nate, who has been bruised by Audra's manipulations, will stand firm, leaving her not only rejected but humiliated, forced to reckon with the fact that she has lost not just a man but also a chance at redemption. And while Audra tries to put on a brave face, burying herself in work and plotting her next move, the truth is that every door she has leaned on for power is beginning to close, and her desperation is showing in ways she cannot fully mask. Against this backdrop of failed schemes and broken promises, Michael Baldwin emerges as the most unsettling piece of the puzzle, a man who should be living out a peaceful retirement with Lauren Fenmore Baldwin but instead seems more entangled than ever in Victor Newman's dangerous orbit. Lauren, who has spent years deciphering every flicker of Michael's expressions, every hesitation in his voice, knows instantly that something is off. She can feel it in the way he avoids her eyes when she questions him, in the clipped answers he gives when she asks about his sudden absences, and in the way he tries to brush off her concerns with half-hearted reassurances. Lauren has seen this before. Every time Victor pulls Michael back into his world, disaster follows, whether it's legal complications, foreign prisons, or betrayals that cut too deep to heal quickly. And while Michael insists that he is simply helping Victor as a friend, Lauren isn't fooled for a second. She suspects, and rightly so, that Victor has manipulated Michael into spying on Kane Ashby, feeding him information that could cost Michael his job and his reputation. The fact that Michael is betraying Kane, his current boss, only heightens the tension, creating a storm that will not be easy to calm. Lauren's fury simmers just beneath the surface, and when she finally has enough pieces of the puzzle to confront Michael, fans can expect fireworks that threaten to upend their marriage in ways neither of them saw coming. Parallel to this unfolding marital storm, Billy Abbott struggles in the aftermath of another devastating loss. The Kane Ashby contract, which has already caused Billy countless headaches, becomes an even greater source of turmoil as Billy begins to suspect that Kane is manipulating him, or worse, that he himself has been caught in a twisted role reversal where he is the one acting like Kane, consumed by schemes, power plays, and questionable choices. As Billy wrestles with the possibility that his own worst instincts are dragging him down, his relationship with Sally Spectra starts to crumble. Sally, already wary of Billy's self-destructive streak, questions whether their romance is built on anything real or if it is destined to implode under the weight of Billy's constant battles. Their arguments grow more heated, with Sally accusing Billy of sabotaging himself and Billy, in turn, lashing out with accusations that Sally is secretly undermining him. It is a painful dance of love and mistrust, leaving fans wondering if this pairing can survive or if they are headed for a spectacular breakup. Meanwhile, Claire and Kyle find themselves walking on thin ice. Kyle, frustrated by Claire's fascination with Holden Novak, tries to pull her closer by suggesting they escape Genoa City together, take a vacation, and put their problems on pause. But Claire, caught between loyalty to Kyle and the undeniable pull of Holden's offer, sees the vacation for what it is, an escape, not a solution. And as Kyle grows more paranoid about losing Claire, his investigations into Holden risk driving her even further away, pushing her straight into Holden's waiting arms. The more Kyle presses, the more Claire resists, creating a dangerous cycle that could end with Kyle losing the woman he has fought so hard to hold on to. At the same time, Audra, licking her wounds from Nate's rejection, sets her sights on reclaiming her power by throwing herself into new projects, desperate to prove she cannot be dismissed so easily. But every move she makes seems to backfire, every alliance she tries to forge crumbles, and her once sharp instincts falter under the weight of repeated failure. What was once her greatest weapon, her ability to manipulate and charm, is no longer working, and the cracks in her armor are beginning to show. Her epic downfall is looming, and when it hits, it will be a spectacle of betrayal, humiliation, and poetic justice. Through it all, Michael's red flags continue to wave ominously, the connective tissue linking these storylines together. His refusal to be honest with Lauren, his entanglement with Victor's dangerous games, and his betrayal of Kane create a ripple effect that touches every corner of Genoa City. For Lauren, it is the heartbreak of realizing the man she loves may never fully leave Victor's orbit. For Billy, it is the pain of watching another man, Michael, play a dangerous game that echoes his own struggles with power and loyalty. For Claire, it is the reminder that secrets and betrayals are the lifeblood of Genoa City, and resisting temptation may be harder than she ever imagined. And for Audra, it is the harsh lesson that manipulation can only carry you so far before the house of cards comes tumbling down. In the end, this storm of red flags, epic failures, and irresistible temptations will leave Genoa City forever changed, as loyalties are tested, relationships are pushed to the brink, and every character is forced to face the choices that could either save them or destroy them. Michael Baldwin's descent into secrecy doesn't just spark suspicion, it ignites a storm in Genoa City that refuses to be contained. Lauren Fenmore Baldwin, who has always prided herself on her ability to read people, finds herself pacing her living room late into the night, replaying every clipped answer and every deflection her husband has given her in recent weeks. Michael used to share everything with her, victories, doubts, even the smallest frustrations. But now? Now she feels like she's living with a stranger. She catches him taking hushed phone calls in the study, notices his quick reflex to flip his laptop shut whenever she walks into the room, and even sees him leaving the house at odd hours with flimsy excuses. Lauren knows these patterns all too well. Michael is hiding something, and history has proven that when Victor Newman is involved, the secrets are always dangerous. Lauren's growing unease is further heightened when she notices Michael's attitude shifting. He's more defensive, more easily irritated, and at times almost cold. It feels less like her husband and more like an operative working under orders. This change cuts her deeply, because Michael promised her peace when he retired. He promised her no more late-night calls from Victor, no more dangerous favors, no more legal chess games that left their marriage hanging by a thread. She thought they had put that chapter of their lives to rest, but clearly, Michael has been pulled back into the abyss. What terrifies Lauren most isn't just the secrecy, it's the possibility that Michael no longer even sees the risk. He's too deep, too convinced he can handle Victor, too sure that he can balance it all without destroying everything. Meanwhile, Kane Ashby is unknowingly being undercut by the very man he employs. Kane thought hiring Michael would be his ace, the strategic win that would make his plans untouchable. But Kane has no idea that his trusted legal mind is funneling information straight back to Victor. Kane's instincts begin to whisper that something isn't adding up, contracts aren't as airtight as they should be, Victor seems to be one step ahead of him in negotiations, and allies who once seemed loyal are slipping away. Kane, ever the strategist himself, begins to wonder whether betrayal is festering inside his own circle, but he hasn't yet looked squarely at Michael. When that revelation comes, it won't just be a betrayal, it will be a gut punch that threatens Kane's entire empire. While Michael plays his dangerous double game, Billy Abbott's struggles intensify. Reeling from his latest setback with Kane, Billy paces Chancellor Winters with fury in his veins. He slams files onto his desk, convinced that the deal he thought was bulletproof was deliberately sabotaged. His paranoia leads him to lash out at Sally Spectra, accusing her of undermining his plans, maybe even conspiring with Kane behind his back. Sally, blindsided and hurt, defends herself, but Billy is too wound up to listen. Their romance, already strained by Billy's obsession with business battles, begins to crumble under the weight of his mistrust. Sally starts to question whether she wants a future with a man who is so consumed by power struggles that he can't see her loyalty, can't appreciate her for the partner she has tried to be. The more she pulls away, the more Billy spirals, setting the stage for explosive confrontations and possibly a devastating breakup. Audra Charles, on the other hand, is circling the drain of her own undoing. After Nate Hastings rejects her yet again, Audra retreats into her sleek, carefully curated world of control, but her facade is cracking. She replays their conversations in her head, wondering where she went wrong, why Nate can't see the connection she believes they shared. The truth, of course, is that Nate sees too clearly. He sees the manipulations, the betrayals, the self-serving moves that Audra tried to mask as ambition. But Audra isn't ready to accept that. Instead, she tells herself that Nate is confused, that his loyalty to others is clouding his judgment, that eventually he'll realize she was the one who truly understood him. But this delusion only sets her up for deeper humiliation, because every attempt she makes to win him back only pushes him further away. Desperation fuels Audra's next moves. She starts throwing herself into new schemes, new projects designed to restore her relevance and power. But the harder she pushes, the more transparent her desperation becomes. Potential allies begin to distance themselves, seeing her as a liability rather than an asset. Even her sharpest skill, her ability to manipulate situations to her advantage, falters under the weight of her failures. Audra is no longer the predator in the room, she's the one scrambling, trying to keep her footing as the walls close in. Her downfall, once unimaginable, now feels inevitable, and Genoa City is quietly watching as her empire of influence begins to collapse. And then there's Claire Newman, caught in the throes of temptation that threatened to unravel her hard-won redemption. Holden Novak knows exactly how to play his cards. He offers her adventure, intrigue, and the intoxicating thrill of stepping outside the lines. For a woman like Claire, who has spent months trying to prove she is trustworthy, Holden's invitation is both a curse and a relief. A curse because she knows the danger it brings, a relief because part of her is exhausted from constantly being on guard, constantly proving she isn't the same woman who once carried out sinister plans. Holden whispers promises that are hard to ignore: freedom from judgment, the chance to reinvent herself, the opportunity to step into a world where her past doesn't matter. Kyle Abbott senses the shift immediately. He watches Claire with wary eyes, noticing the way she lights up when Holden is around, the way her laughter rings just a little louder, her smile just a little freer. Kyle tells himself it's nothing, that Claire is loyal to him, but insecurity gnaws at him. He tries to pull her back with the promise of a romantic escape, a trip away from Genoa City where they can rediscover each other. But Claire, though touched, knows a vacation isn't the answer. It feels like running away, and deep down, she knows her temptation with Holden will follow her wherever she goes. Kyle's desperation only makes things worse, because the more he clings, the more suffocated Claire feels. Their relationship, once a source of strength for both of them, begins to feel like a battlefield, with every glance and every silence charged with suspicion and unspoken doubts. Holden, of course, thrives on this tension. He knows exactly what he's doing, weaving himself into Claire's life with subtle precision. He offers her understanding in the places Kyle offers judgment, freedom in the places Kyle offers control. To Claire, it feels like Holden sees her, not the damaged girl trying to prove herself, but the woman she wants to become. The danger, of course, is that Holden's intentions are not as pure as they seem, and Claire's inability to resist him could lead her straight into a trap she won't see until it's too late.